training is being recorded. If you need to step out early, or if you know an organization who wasn't able to attend today, this training will be available on the City Grants Portal website after. Please be able to share it with others who were not able to attend. I did make this training about an hour and a half. I don't think we'll go an hour and a half, but I did want to leave time for anyone who had extra questions towards the end. The chat will be open for the entirety of the training. So if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in there. Or, you know, if you want to raise a hand when we're on a certain slide, please feel free to do that. You might as well ask it while we're in it. I did want to take a second to thank everyone for being here today. It is exciting and hopeful to see all of these new organizations looking for funding and trying to get into Gaithersburg City Schools. I know a lot of you went through a lot with your organizations during COVID. So it's very exciting to see after 2 years, like our 3rd year in it, that we have a lot of interest of getting back into these schools. So thank you so much for everything that you do, not only for City of Gaithersburg students, but for students all over Montgomery County. Your work is important. Your work is needed. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I am going to turn it over to Maureen Herndon. She is the division manager for City of Gaithersburg Community Services. She is our fearless leader. Maureen is responsible for administrative oversight, collaborations with our local nonprofits. She also offers direct services to anyone walking in through our doors. And of course, she oversees the very, very important hoarding task force for the City of Gaithersburg. So Maureen, if you want to take over.
Good morning, everyone. As Mary said, thank you so much for attending this session, and especially for all you do to serve our City of Gaithersburg youth and families. I also wanted to point out that Tom Lonergan is here today. Tom is our assistant city manager and our new supervisor for our division, at least temporarily. As you know, Bridette has retired. So thank you, Tom, for being here.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Mary.
So welcome. Special thanks to Mary for putting together an exceptional training. I know you get a lot out of it. And of course, her and I are always available for questions afterwards and through the whole process. So I just wanted to go through quickly, if we go to the next slide, our agenda that Mary has set up. So we're going to do a brief overview for those that don't know us of the City of Gaithersburg Community Services Division. Mary will go over give us an overview of eligibility and our grant guidelines for funding for FY24. Just a reminder, I know you all know this, but FY24 programs start July 1st, 2023 and go through June 30th of 2024. So that's the application process we're looking at. That will be the next bullet. Then Mary will be going over the application process and deadlines. And I will also be going over the budget page as part of that, and then next steps. Okay, Mary. So just briefly, the City of Gaithersburg Community Services Division is a very proud division. We're very excited to continue for almost 30 years now to be an active division for the City of Gaithersburg. We're located at Wells Robertson House, that you see in that picture. If you haven't been to our office or Wells Robertson House, you are welcome anytime. It is located across the parking lot from City Hall, just behind the Shell station and next to the railroad tracks in Old Town. Our entrance is in the back door. So we're open to visitors, calls, reach out anytime. Our mission is to serve all individuals, families, and communities within the City of Gaithersburg. And as most of you know, we do a lot of that work not only through direct service and case coordination, but also a lot of daily work with our congregations and businesses and nonprofits. We're really committed to trying to support all our partners in any way possible, not just through this grant process. To that end, we offer providers trainings, collaboration building, trying to hook people up with if someone calls it, is really trying to donate to our nonprofits and being kind of that middleman to get people working together. We do a lot of supportive volunteer efforts in the city, and are there for any kinds of questions that you might have or suggestions on how the city and community service can better support you. I am the division manager of community services, and you already met Mary Armbruster, our senior program coordinator. In our office, we're also happy to have a wonderful bilingual caseworker who coordinates a bi-weekly caseworkers group meeting, if you're interested in that, as well as a lot of one-on-one work, and administers our housing assistance program that we do with CDBG funds through the city. So if you haven't met her, please reach out. That's Geraldine Bernardo. We also are happy to have Leslie McDonald on board as project manager. Leslie is overseeing the full operations in conjunction with Housing Initiative Partnership of our new Gaithersburg Financial Empowerment Center. If you don't know about it, please call us or we'll get you information, but a lot more information will be coming. Just FYI, they've already served over 200 residents with some wonderful outcomes. So we're happy to have Leslie on board. And last but certainly not least, we have Nancy Lazo. She is our new program coordinator in charge of the Gaithersburg Coalition of Providers, our monthly community service newsletter. Please sign up for that on the website also. So we'll be getting one out very soon. And she's also in charge of outreach efforts. So if you ever have an event or a suggestion for an event, Nancy is the one to talk to as far as bringing city program and service information to your site or apartment complex or partner with you. So that's us. We're fully staffed. I'm thrilled to say, and we're moving right along. And thank you for your time. I'll hand it back to Mary to start the training.
So like Maureen said, community services has been chugging along for about 30 years, which is about the length of our grants program. The city has about $1 million as a line item budget to spend on either community service grants or school-based nonprofit grants. About $200,000 of that pot is designated for our school-based nonprofit organizations. The Educational Enrichment Committee is a group of local citizens, educators, PTA presidents, former PTA presidents. We have a speech therapist, kind of you name it, those who have been inside MCPS and know about programming that happens inside MCPS. Our Education Enrichment Committee members are also responsible for kind of keeping their ears to the ground and listening for what is needed within our 10% city schools. And that's through ongoing needs assessments, input from city youth, working closely in coordination with our youth and sports division services. And so they kind of come back and hear, you know, hey, I heard we need more mentoring services within this elementary school. And so they, along with Maureen and myself, kind of put together focus areas and what's needed. And we'll see those kind of in a minute for our FY24 focus areas. They are responsible for collaborating with families, with educators, with local nonprofits and businesses to encourage the support of these creative and impactful programs. So the Educational Enrichment Committee also is responsible for grant allocations. So they, along with Maureen and myself, go over all of the applications that are submitted. And in the end, they are the ones who determine, based off of these applications and based off of what they see at site visits, what they see within the application itself, how much each organization should be awarded. And then they recommend that to mayor and city council. Maureen, did I miss anything? Oh, actually, I did miss something. The Educational Enrichment Committee is very focused on youth events as well. And so we partner with different nonprofit organizations where we come to your event, or we partner with youth and sports services to help put on events like the Youth Voice Workshop or the big Gaithersburg Cluster event that just happened. They are also responsible for coordinating the principals and counselors very popular appreciation breakfast that we have every September. We are gearing up for Valentine's Day for appreciation gift to our principals. They do school drives, kind of you name it, and the EEC has their hand in it. What else, Maureen, did I miss about the Ed committee?
I think you got it. I mean, if anyone ever knows someone in the community that might be interested in joining, they're always looking for new members. As you can tell, it's a very active and committed committee. So we're in good hands with our grant review.
Very active. And one new thing that the committee is looking for, well, not new, but coming back, you know, everybody was so closed off during COVID. They're very interested in site visits. We do have a lot of current funded organizations here right now. They are looking to come in and see programming in action. So any invites to the Ed committee, they would greatly appreciate. Okay. And going on to the next, this is our eligibility for grant funding for FY24. In order to qualify, you have to be a 501c3 or a 509A1 organization. The city is looking for organizations who are looking to collaborate with different divisions throughout the city. Clear and committed collaborations with community services, inviting us to events, reaching out if you have any questions or concerns, collaboration with youth and sports services. This is directly involving events like the Youth Voice Workshop or our quarterly meetings with the Gaithersburg Youth Opportunities Coalition. This coalition was created to decrease the amount of competition within schools. It's a great networking opportunity. It's a great way to create relationships with other organizations who are in schools that your organization is in. So you'll see definite questions about that on the application. They're focused on extracurricular and after school activities. MCPS did just release their initiative, the Be Well 365 initiative, that will ensure that students have the necessary skills to manage their emotions and their mental health as well as their physical health. MCPS feels that the two go hand in hand to produce young people who are successful in school and in life. I think everybody here knows the importance of mental health and student self-care as well as your own self-care. And so the shift has definitely focused on youth mental health and resiliency this year in our focus areas. But again, as everybody well knows, kind of any intervention with youth is some sort of form of mental health support. So if your program is not an extracurricular or after school, if you're a one-day mentoring program or your organization sponsors field trips to go to sporting events, I mean, any type of focus that your application can prove for youth mental health and self-care and wellness, promoting that on your application, the committee is definitely going to be looking at that this year. One big one I did want to point out on this slide is the MOU with our 10% city schools. You have to have an understanding with a 10% city school that you want to get your program into this year. Well, kind of always you've had to have an MOU. The schools are listed on our website. Just so everybody knows, Strawberry Knoll got knocked off the list this year. They're not a 10% city school. They kind of make the cutoff every other year. But a new school that did get on the list was Harriet Tubman Elementary. But those schools are listed on our website. And you have to have an understanding with the school to get your program inside. One thing that an organization did make clear to me this year was they were having issues getting city addresses from the school. If you don't get addresses from student enrollment forms or from the students directly themselves, organizations do go through the main office. that should also be included in your MOU, that those addresses will be supplied. And we can go over the addresses a little bit further along. Maureen, did you want to add anything to this slide?
No, just a small note around the 10% schools. Like Mary said, the list is on our website, or 150 city students. This primarily applies to Northwest High School, which is over 150 city students, but doesn't fall into the 10%. So you'll see them on our list.
Okay, we're chugging along pretty well. So we'll get to the next one. This slide may look familiar. This was on the invite that was sent out to everyone for the training itself. These were the approved focus areas that the committee agreed on for FY24. Training, career and employment or workforce development, academic support and unfinished learning, grief and education, digital access and literacy, and of course, youth mental health support. So these will be, you will note on your application directly which service your organization provides to the youth. Do you want to add anything, Maureen?
No, I just love this slide. It's very clear. I think, again, if anybody, however, has any questions, feel free to use the chat. And I think we'll have time at the end too, but no, it definitely reflects the focus that the education committee develops. So thank you for this.
Okay, some important program timeline dates. Of course, we have today, we have our grant training, but February 1st, our grant portal will open. Where does one go to the grant portal? Well, so glad you asked. You will go to the City of Gaithersburg grant portal page, which is found on the Gaithersburg website. You will click under community services, and then you will click on our grants portal. That link will be live at 10 a.m. on February 1st. What's nice about this portal system is that you don't have to finish it in one sitting. You can go back all throughout the month of February, make tweaks to it, and then submit when you're comfortable and have everything ready to go. March 1st, the portal will close at 4 p.m. So please make sure you have everything in by 4 p.m. on March 1st. If you're able to submit earlier within February, I'm able to see what you submit. If anything is missing or if anything is ambiguous or unclear, I will reach out to you to make that clarification or to correct the document. If I do reach out to you, please make sure that you get back to me as soon as you can. We do have about 30 interested organizations this fiscal year. So if I have to reach out to everybody, it does get a little bit time consuming. So I'll be reaching out to everyone in February. If you are towards the tail end of February, I will reach out in March when our committee members are reviewing applications. So I'll have March as well to reach out to everyone. But again, if I do reach out to you, please make sure you get back to me as soon as possible, just so that we can all stay on top and be organized. March of 2023, educational committee members will review all applications and supplemental documentation. I do have some dates that are not on this slide, just some city dates. On April 3rd, Mayor and City Council will have an open meeting on public hearings on the budget and the tax rate. You as a citizen are more than welcome to join these meetings and give your opinion on what should be spent within the budget. So if you wanted to advocate for your organization, or if you want to advocate for more money going to youth organizations, this would be a great opportunity. April 26th, that public comment record closes. So if you weren't able to make the April 3rd meeting, your last chance would be to join on April 26th. As you'll see within that month, April 17th, the committees meet at the end of March, and those allocation meetings take place, and they determine how much should be allocated towards each organization. And then I have about 2 weeks to kind of organize everything and let organizations know that they are being awarded on April 17th. So that'll be the big day. Everybody should expect something. If your organization does not get a notification on April 17th, I will probably send out a follow-up email letting you know what is happening and keep you informed. And then, of course, on May 15th, the city adopts its FY24 budget. And then our new fiscal year starts on July 1st, 2023.
Mary, could I just clarify one quick thing?
Of
On
course.
the award notification, it's really the award notification of the recommendation of the Education Enrichment Committee. The mayor and council and our city manager have an important step following that, as well as the absolute adoption of the budget. So it is pending those two steps, but it generally, they're in line. But just to clarify that part. I also wanted to thank Mary for her willingness to entertain questions and review, like during the application process and even before the committee gets or has the official discussions. I think it's critical what Mary said to make sure you respond quickly to her requests for clarifications. Our goal is to provide the education committee with the cleanest product, possible. So thank you, Mary, for offering to do that.
So these will be our grant requirements. Of course, we have our grantee training is up there. The next one would be our budget documentation. Maureen is going to go over that in the next slide. If you are a currently funded organization, you know about our quarterly reporting, addressing, and invoicing. We've been able to do this all through the portal system this year, which I really like. I feel like it's a very easy, user-friendly system. Addresses, I did kind of want to jump. I'm going to jump 2 slides. This is our address spreadsheet for our new organizations who are here. This is a little outdated. Column A tends to be organization's name. And then there tends to be a column for client initials. The city never, ever requires you to put a student's name on this spreadsheet. We do not take names. We understand the importance of confidentiality and that trust that you have with your students. The city also does not need apartment numbers. That's never been a full requirement of the requirement for funding. What is required is the street number, street name, street type, as well as the city and state. Those are required. You'll see the Q1 through Q4 boxes, or quarter 1 through quarter 4 boxes. It's much easier to keep this spreadsheet working as you go through your quarters. If you have a student who joined for quarter 1, decided to drop out for quarter 2, but join back up in quarter 3, that's how you would mark it in the spreadsheet. We do not accept duplicated addresses unless it's a sibling. So if a student joined for quarter 1, dropped out for quarter 2, you would not again put their address for quarter 3. You would just mark them for quarter 3. Which tends to make it easier if you do have that client initials column, just so that you know and you can kind of keep your records organized. Again, if you are awarded funding and you have any questions about the address spreadsheet, we can go over that at a later time, but I did just want to give everyone an example. But going back here, we do 4 reports for the fiscal year. One's in October, one's in January, one's in April, and one is in June. That'll be all through the portal system. And it's just general questions, kind of updates on what your program has done throughout the quarter, any new students that you're able to get, as well as your outcomes from your contract. Kind of going back, once you are notified that you are awarded, we'll kind of jump right into contract negotiations. We tend to have the same template every year, but between the adoption of the budget in May through June, I will be working closely with our legal department on getting these contracts into DocuSign so that we can get checks sent out for quarter 1. Within the contract are your outputs and your outcomes that are required for funding. These would be submitted through your quarterly report and updated, just letting us know the numbers. Some people have outcomes regarding attendance, some people have outcomes regarding student emotion. It kind of depends on what you put within your application. So that'll happen all through May and June. And those dates will be given within your contract for the quarterly reporting address and invoicing. Again, we got site visits up on the board. Committee members want to see your organizations in actions. I want to see your organizations in action. So if you have any site visit dates that you can put on the calendar, would love to come and see programming within our schools. Please be sure that your organization has clear goals and objectives. Committee members would rather see a lot of writing than a little bit of writing. If you can put as much detail as you can into these applications, kind of the more the better. The committee members do use a template where they grade these applications based on what they see. So make sure that you are organized and ready to go. Something that was new last year that's not going to be on the application again this year is the unit of service cost, which Maureen can kind of go over in the budget sheet next. But that is, the committee members want to know how much money does it cost to serve one City of Gaithersburg student for an entire fiscal year. And that's where you would put that unit of service cost. Okay. I'm gonna move on. So this is your favorite slide, Maureen. I'm gonna give this one to you.
Boy, for the folks that have been around the table a while, you know how this has evolved, right, Joanne?
Yeah.
Joanne Dretchen is here with me from Seroptimus, so she knows how it is. So please jump in if you have any questions. We've tried to make this as clear and as easy to use as possible, but definitely your feedback, even now, if something doesn't make sense or a suggestion is definitely welcome. The key to this budget sheet is we do not want to see numbers for your whole program across Gaithersburg, across MCPS. We want to see numbers for the program that you are asking us to support. We used to call it a project or a program, and back and forth to be clear. So for instance, I'll use you as an example, Joanne.
Sure.
So if Seroptimus has a whole comprehensive program and they serve every single high school in Montgomery County, but they're applying to expand to Gaithersburg High School, we want the budget form to reflect what they're asking us for to support Gaithersburg High School, not the whole program budget for the whole agency operating countywide. The other key thing is the revenue total, which is going to come, and I'm using my pointer and you can't see it, in the yellow total revenue, it's like mid-page with city requested amount. That amount needs to equal further down the total expenses. So the one has to equal the other. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, going back up on the top, we're looking for the total non-city revenue. Mary, can you point out? There you go. The total program expenses or cost. And the difference of that, if I remember correctly, will auto-populate to the net amount needed, which would then populate to the amount of the request. Of course, the requested amount cannot exceed the net amount needed. So that will auto-populate. The first big section, obviously, is revenue. So you want to list the name and amount of grants you're getting from foundations or other sources, and we give you 5 spaces to do that if you need that. Any revenue or contributions you're getting from businesses would go in the next section, again with the name and the amount. We are also asking as part of revenue for your in-kind contributions and monetary amount for that, because that supports your budget. You're also, whatever in-kind contribution is coming in as revenue, you're going to want to reflect it under the expenses too. As an example, if Joanne has 2 volunteers that are contributing to the program, you need to put it down under staffing as well, if there's a cost involved, again, to ensure that the revenue and the expenses are going to end up equal. And then there's another part for other revenue. So you're going to note the total non-city revenue and then the total revenue with the city requested amount. So that would just be adding what you need to what you know you already have. Does that make sense? Are there any questions? I don't see any in the chat. Mary, does that make sense for that part? And then I'll go into the expenses a little bit more. Oh, good. Can you scroll down a little bit, Mary, on the expense part?
No, this is the only slide I have for this.
Oh, that's right. You're not in the.
Yes.
So these are some of the key areas that usually these programs fall into as far as expenses. Transportation is always a big one. Supplies and materials. So basically, you're just going to talk about, what type of expenses you anticipate under supplies and materials. Sometimes I'll let you know about the supplies and materials if you can be specific in this area, because there's times that the committee is unable to award the full requested amount, but they know that they're going to get a huge donation of supplies, of paper, of folders or whatever. So they, with the grant offer, potentially we and the committee could say, we're cutting this, but we will supply you with the binders, or we will be able to, get you paper. So be specific about what you're looking for there. And then the last one is staffing. And there is a separate worksheet for this. This is a breakdown of staffing costs that include like hourly rate and title of the person and how many hours they'll be working. Mary, we don't have the staffing sheet here, right? But we can go, you'll see that. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then at the bottom, I can't see the whole thing. Again, the main thing, make sure that total revenue is equaling your expenses. So Mary, I left anything out, or do you want to add something?
There was a great question in the chat, like if it's possible to submit 2 different proposals for 2 different programs. Yes, you would have to create a new application though. If your organization is doing the same program at multiple schools, that can be accepted on one application. But if you're doing 2 different programs at 2 different schools, those would have to be separate applications. So that would be 2 separate budget spreadsheets. Correct, Maureen?
Great. Yep, that's exactly right. All right. So no questions on that. Again, we're available as you're going through it. If any questions pop up, give us a call.
So we're coming to an end. The next steps, the portal opens at 10 a.m. on February 1st. So today I will send out everyone links to our grant webpage, MCPS's Be Well 365 initiative, as well as the community services newsletter. So mark your calendars for our grant portal on February 1st. Please reach out with any questions you have from now until next week. You can reach out to me. I'll be able to answer those for you. Consider which scope would best fit your organization. Once the portal is available, please make sure you have access. If you reach out to me on February 27th at 8 p.m. that you can't get into the system, I don't know if I'll have enough time to be able to reach out to Blackbaud to get your system set up. So please reach out to me earlier than that. The portal closes on March 1st at 4 p.m. That is a Wednesday. And then after that, the committee members will be able to review and grants will be announced in April and again finalized in May. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Our grants webpage, again, can be available. You will go to our city website, go to services, community services, and just click on the City of Gaithersburg grants portal. I'll be able to send everybody that newsletter link. Please sign up if you haven't. My coworker Nancy Laszlo coordinates the newsletter. If you have any needs or any wants, we are dedicating a section to the newsletter for our nonprofit organizations. So if you're looking for volunteers, if you're looking for transportation services, if you're looking for expo markers, just let us know and we'll be able to add that within our newsletter and kind of blast it to our partners. All right, if we have any questions, you can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat. Yes, Maureen.
Mary, as far as access for new people into the grant portal, or even the folks that have done it before, can you go over real quick if they can use their same password or if they're going to face setting a new one up, or is there any little challenges they should anticipate with that?
If you're a currently funded organization, you should be able to use your current username and password. If you are a new organization, you will be prompted to create a profile. So it's again, this program is fairly user friendly. If you forget your password, I don't think it lets you request a new one. You have to go through me. So just let me know if you don't remember your password and I'll be able to wipe it or to get a hold of somebody from Blackbaud to get you a new one. And I think that's it. We did a quick 45-minute training.
Everybody looks tired because it's Monday morning, Mary.
I'm sorry, guys. I just wanted to get it done. Again, this training is being recorded and it'll be available on our website. If you know of someone who wasn't able to join today and they want a little bit more clarification, or if you need a little bit more clarification on that budget spreadsheet and kind of need to rewatch it, this will be available on our website by the end of the week. So please reach out with any questions. It was great seeing everyone. Thank you again for all of what you do and your programming inside of our schools. I hope everyone got a great refresh and have updated their dates and their calendars. I wish everyone luck for the FY24 grant cycle. And I can't wait to see what programs are planning for FY24. So thank you, everyone.